It's nice when you're on location, and I'll come out for 2 weeks at a time, and my family comes out and joins me, and then I'll wrap it up. But it's fun to sink in, and like I said, I came out here early to Toronto to really to do the compose the score with the guys, and it was just amazing being with everyone here, and good food, just amazing food here, man.
Yeah. Do your kids know what you do for a living? Have they figured that out yet?
My daughter was actually on set when I ripped the guy's throat out.
Really?
On Game of Thrones. It's hilarious. She's with the wardrobe lady, just like knitting, and I'm like, "You okay, sweet?" She's like, "Yeah, Papa." And she's like, just like knitting. She's all of like 3. My son's like a baby Bjorn or something like that, and that's they saw me put the wolf on for the next one, and they didn't spend too much time on Bullet to the Head because it was a very short. I was also doing publicity for Conan, and so it was like I was, one day I'm in Spain, and I'm in God knows where, and So they weren't there at Bullet to the Head, but definitely Conan and Game of Thrones. I like to bring my children. It's just too hard.
Well, it's a weird life, right? You're away a lot. You're working, and when you're working, it's kind of immersive, right? You're in there. So to have any kind of real sort of family life, and I guess it's a little easier now because they can travel, right? When they go into school, maybe it might be a little. You got to start getting movies shot in Topanga Canyon.
I just feel like school's pretty expensive. Why don't I just buy a teacher and bring him with you? I don't want my kid going to like the Louvre instead of like learning it in a book. I mean, I don't know how we're going to take that when they get into school, but. It's good they're close in age.
Yeah.
And we'll see when we get there.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on this movie.
Thank you.
I got to tell you, it's a lot of fun. It reminded me of action movies, like a little older action movies, because it strikes me, and maybe I'm wrong here, but there's not a lot of CG in it. I mean, the fight scenes look pretty realistic to me. You're not boxing against a green screen in these things, right? And so it reminded me of like a 1987 action movie, and I liked that, and I liked that the combat was axes and knives and fists and real mano a mano stuff. And I think it's a hoot. It's a lot of fun. Is that what appealed to you?
Absolutely. I mean, I think Walter Hill gives it that appeal. I mean, you got Hard Times, you got Warriors, and it was an honor just working with him. But then Stallone, I mean, you can't say enough good things about him, but truly he is an icon, a legend, and he's just so good at what he does.
Right.
He's got a great energy, so I love watching him on the screen. Like, he just is solid as a rock, man. So even when he does something that's such a one-liner Stallone thing, you just kind of chuckle and giggle. Yeah. And I think it's just the way he's moving with his age. It's pretty. He's killing it. He's still doing it. He hit me. He got me good. So
did he?
Yeah, man. He got me a couple of times. It was great.
Because he's supposed to like miss by an inch, right? Is that sort of
no? When we were punching, it was funny. I get thrown up against the wall, and I'm kind of clapping because we were supposed to split up and drop the axes, right? And so we could get into the punches. He's like, yeah, put a couple. He's up, I'll tune you up. Just put a couple on the side, put one right here. And I was like, all right, yeah, sweet. I'm like, you want me to put a pad in there so you can just you don't have to pull back? He's like, no, I'll pull my punches. Cool. I was like, oh, shit. So we get lined up, action goes in, 1, 2, and then there's a beat, and he just lays a third one, and it's monstrous, and I just feel it. And I'm supposed to backhand him and then to kick him out. And so I was like, what happened there? He's like, oh, you lose that, I was like, he's like, just give me one more. I was like, oh man. I told my friend, he's taping it. I'm like, dude, watch this. I guarantee he just floors me. So action goes in, 1, 2 to the right. I can't see, and he switches, and he's southpaw. So he totally switches, goes the other way, and I'm not even expecting it. And he just crumbles me, and I just go. That's the shot that you see where I'm just like, smack him in the head and then kick him back. But it's great. He just had so much fun with smoking cigars, hanging out. He's bestowing his wisdom upon me, and it's it was a really fun set.
Was he trying to get you going there, to give you something to get you riled up, to get that last little punch from you back to make it seem a bit more real?
I'm an amazing action star, so I don't need any help, Sylvester. But I think it's just always kind of he's the old bull. I mean, it's just fun to get in there, and I'm 30 years younger than him, and he I can take it. And it's just good fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's never to go hurt someone, but I mean, it's not like Seagal's kicking me in the nuts or something. It's actually it's cool because it's Rocky punching me in the ribs. It's like a shot from the Rock. So
that'd be the title of your autobiography years from now. Do you before the action roles came on, before all that stuff, were you bouncing in clubs? Were you what was the background that led you to that you would say, I'm going to be this is the stuff, this is my genre, this is what I want to do?
I don't know if I think it kind of chose me. I mean, even just in acting, like I was folding T-shirts at a surf shop in Hawaii when Baywatch Hawaii found me. When I got into action, I think what really got me in action was Stargate.
Right.
Atlantis. When I did that, I had 4 years of just ultimate like Stunts Canada and the guys like Bam Bam and all these great stunt coordinators like they just kind of taught me that and like laid the groundwork. And then I met 8711, who were the guys that did Matrix and Born Identity, like all these great movies. And they did Conan, and they took it to another level.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a hired thing. I mean, I've been athletic and just trying to. It's really a dance, you know. It's just a choreographed dance, and you just try to find that flow and make it look menacing and at the same time graceful, and you know. So.
Well, you really get a sense of that in the act scene.
Yeah.
Man, that act scene, like when you first pick it up, you've got this sort of gleefulness about it, right?
Yeah.
You bust the glass open with your elbow, you grab the, and the way you're twirling it, doing all that stuff. Your character's a psycho. He's looking forward to beating somebody to death with an axe, but it's really graceful.
Yeah.
It's really got a feel to it.
It's hard to find, and that's one thing I want to pride myself on too, because there's not too many big guys that move. They're kind of clumsy, and I mean, it's with any really good sports player, they know how to, or athlete, they know how to move their body, and like I said, it's a dance. I think it's good to know how to dance. I think it's good to. A lot of roles that I do are physical, but at the same time, I bring that physicality with, you know, I was doing Conan, I was studying like lines and how they move, and I wanted to make him very like feral. You know, a silverback is Drogo.
Right.
This guy's a shark. I mean, you know, it just kind of like, it helps me find an animal that I can relate to, and I can just like study that. I enjoy that. It's like something that I use for characteristics and yeah.
Well, in the bar scene, you know, we're not going to give away what happens in the bar scene, but you have to kind of slip in and out. Yeah. It's fair to say before you meet the Stallone character. Yeah. And you're probably the biggest guy in the room going in. Maybe you and Stallone are the two biggest guys in the room. But the way it's shot and the stuff, you kind of blend in, and it's cool because it's graceful and it sort of happens
It's one time we have the hair down, so when you first see it, it's like, it looks like he's gonna, you know, the same thing. But the truth is, it's just like him being undercover and something, going like, hey, he's just a, you know, rock and roller hanging out, and then. Clean and quick. Yeah.
And now we were talking earlier, you know, you're, it seems to me, almost as interested in being behind the camera as you are in front.
For sure.
Tell me a little bit about that, where that came from, and what the plans are. Like, will you, Road to Paloma, we talked about that a little bit. Tell me just a little bit more about that. And
well, Road to Paloma, we're just finishing up and taking out to festivals, and that's just a demonstration of, I mean, I'm an artist through and through, and I love the whole job of filmmaking. I mean, I love from composing the music to photography, wardrobe, everything. So, me personally, I just find acting not always so fulfilling.
Yeah.
Where I feel like as a filmmaker, you really get it's your painting up there. If you paint something, it's you alone. If you're playing music, it's you and a couple guys up there alone. Right. And acting, it's such a collaborative process, but being at the helm of something and making it all come to fruition and finding all those perfect artists that you know that can bring something together. I enjoy that. I'm actually doing my second one. I finished writing it when I was on Wolves. We're going to go to Detroit and finish. It's going to be like a Rocky Meets on the Waterfront / Barfly. Wow. It's really about a alcoholic father who he's a fighter, and he had everything, and his 2 daughters. He's got 2 daughters, and he's just been numb for so long. And his daughter gets sick with leukemia, and it's him just finding himself again, falling back in love with his wife, and having to do stuff in a pretty post-apocalyptic town, just through those rubble. Yeah, come out of there like a.
So you attracted to grittier kinds of stories, then?
I am, yeah. I mean, the Road to Paloma is really about the crimes that are being committed on Indian land, and that's kind of what we're attacking about the whole thing. It's just the injustices that are happening. Because everything, tribal law can't prosecute a lot of crimes. It has to go to federal court, and federal court's not going to do it. And there's a free-for-all of violence happening, and it's really about bringing attention to some of that and putting you and the audience in the position of, if someone can't protect your family, how do you protect your family?
Right.
These are the things you're going to do. Well, when you do that, this is the repercussion. And so it's all about this redemption of him dulling out his soul, like giving out his soul on his road to his own demise. Right. And it's like what you leave and how you affect other people. So it's this, people I think will be really surprised. And we've got a really great list of music in it that we got gifted to us. We got like the Stones, 2 Tom Waits,
wow,
Dead Weather, 2 CCR.
And you say gifted to you, like
Bob Dylan, like we got them in our they're in our movie.
Wow.
So we've got a lot of people that watched it and were like, yeah,
wow,
we dig it, and we dig the subject matter, and we dig what you did with it. We shot it for little to nothing and did it on 5Ds, and it's pretty. I think I'm really proud of it for first.
I think it's interesting that you know, you're making these films, which is probably fair to say, like they're low budget, you know, they're economically made, right? Yes. But you're used to working on big movies, right? So do you find that the idea of working on something that's a little smaller budget, you got to go by instinct, and it's more that it's more challenging. You can't do everything theater 15 times, you know? Yeah.
Well, you can. I mean, I feel like you don't have to, with a lot of money, you don't have to move at an extremely fast rate,
right?
Because you're not employing that many people. I hired 6 of my best friends,
right?
So it's like we don't have. I mean, we work and we don't have a lighting crew, so it's basically at sunrise and sunset we're constantly working, but in the middle of the day we sleep and basically block stuff out. But when those moments hit, it's like doing a painting. Like you're pretty intense for 4 hours, and then you're like, whew. It's not like kind of just working throughout the day. There's an intensity of like go, 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 go. Right. You're shooting very quick, but you also not just going like, oh, I don't know. You've already blocked it out, and I feel like it feels kind of like theater, and it's less abrasive with as many cameras.
Right.
I feel like the experienced actors who are in my movie, like Wes Studi, he plays my dad, and like you find they love it because it's not so. Everything's around, and you know, I made him hike up the top of this mountain in Joshua Tree at 3:30 in the morning to be there for sunrise. And like we've, you know, he's 60 something years old, and we hiked up these huge rocks. And at the very end, we're crescendoing in the Sierras. We hiked up for a mile in, and we're at 12,000 feet underneath a huge snow-capped mountain. And I'm in like freezing pond or freezing lake, spreading my mom's ashes, and like you couldn't do it on this budget. You have to do it out of passion. You have to find people that would back you. If it didn't have a story, you wouldn't care. I feel like everyone involved in it wore 10 hats, and they did it for the passion, and that's what's always going to give you the best product.
Right on. That's your time.
Cheers, man. Thank you.